disgruntled players over your coach? I know some people I've talked to have thought that that's maybe.
Once again, there's rumors, that abound. The world today is filled with, the internet has provided a vehicle with rumors. There was one person that made this decision, and that was me. And I made the decision based on all the factors I shared with you. I did the best I could to get to the bottom of facts in terms of, what was happening within the program, and I made a decision. But no booster, no donor, no student athlete, forced my hand, forced this decision. It's a decision that I made. I made the recommendation to President Mason, and we ended it today.
Why did you make the decision today as opposed to, say, after the game against Michigan on Thursday or like sometime over the weekend?
Maybe it goes back to my conservative nature. I wanted very much to continue with Todd, with his style, with his past performance, and so I wanted to make sure that I had crossed every T and dotted every I. I didn't want to make a rash decision, and so at the end of the game, my decision had not been finalized. So I made it, finalized it this morning. But the reason I didn't make it after the game, after the Michigan game, is because it hadn't been finalized yet.
It was reported last week that he was going to resign for health reasons. Was that ever part of it?
I had heard rumors during the game, something to that effect, and that's absolutely false.
Have you spoken to the players, and do you plan on speaking to them? And the four young men signed, who I think have a lot of questions.
You bet. It's spring break, so addressing first the question about the current student athletes, we've contacted all of them. Today is obviously at a fast pace, so we've reached out to all of them so they knew ahead of time what had happened. I've not directly spoken to them. I'll be doing that as part of my process over the next 2 days. It's not, unfortunately with spring break, I can't get the team together like I normally would, but I'll do that as soon as it's possible, as soon as they return.
Gary, as a follow-up to Tom's question, did you talk to any of the assistants on Todd's staff, and who's sort of driving the ship right now?
Well, consistent with what I've done in the past when coaching changes have occurred during my career, and consistent with what I did when Steve left and when we were out hiring this coach, I'll sit down with somebody and they'll sort of serve as my day-to-day, but I'll be directly involved with conversations with recruits, with current student athletes. That's what I did last time. That's what I anticipate doing again this time.
Do you have any idea?
I've met with 2 out of 3 assistants today. Again, timing just hasn't allowed to have all my meetings, but I haven't made any final decisions.
Do you figure on hiring a consultant again?
I would anticipate doing that. I have not yet done that. I would anticipate the process that I followed last time to be similar to the process that I followed this time.
You talked about what you're looking for in a new coach. Somebody matches your personality, whatever.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but somebody who matches Iowa's way, which generally has consistency with how I am as an individual as well.
What about style of play?
Style of play?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to read too much into your question.
Up-tempo.
Entertaining. Entertaining. Well, that's making the assumption that Todd's style is not entertaining, and I disagree with that. What I agree with is that we have not yet reached the potential that I've seen Todd's teams play at. I've watched Todd's teams play very exciting basketball. I've watched other coaches who run a similar type program, some in our conference, who I very much enjoy watching. So I'll push back a little bit and say I don't agree with the assumption that Todd's style isn't exciting. I do agree that we haven't been exciting to watch, especially this past season. Well, really, yet. We haven't, we've had moments, but we haven't done it consistently. So, am I looking for someone who's going to run exciting basketball? The answer is yes. But I'm not willing to concede that Todd's style and his approach is not exciting.
After the last coaching change, at least from the outside looking in, 9 players left, and a lot of them said or hinted that it was because they either had disagreements with Coach Licklider about the style of play or about their role on the team. What do you do for the players that are here, which you've said you really like, to make sure that they stay here?
Well, at the end of the day, I can't force anybody to stay that doesn't want to stay. What I want to do is impress upon them that this is a great place. They've agreed to come to a wonderful place. We're going to go out and find a coach that takes their skills and their talents and meshes well, with the university and with their their goals and their desires, and that's the best that I can do. Turnover in student athletes, when you do change coaches, is always a possibility. I would love to minimize that in this case. We're going to do the best we can to accomplish that.
By making this decision so quickly, did you just come to the conclusion that Todd Licklider wasn't the guy who can get a Big Ten program, because he came from a mid-major, wasn't the guy who could get a Big Ten program up to where you want it to be?
It sounds like there's some loaded definitions in that question. First of all, define quickly. I don't know
Well,
what
3
you would
years,
define
3
quickly.
years.
Oh, 3 years in terms of years,
Yeah,
okay.
in terms of him only being here
Okay.
3 years.
Thanks, I'm glad I got that clarification. I am not at all willing to say that Todd is not capable of running a Big Ten program. What I am saying is that in this case, at this point in time and with the circumstances we had here, it didn't work out. As I said when I started, I think he's a terrific coach. I think he has great values and core values and ethics. I don't know if it would work some other place in some other circumstance, but I'm not willing to say that a coach, including Todd, couldn't be successful coming from the pattern and background that he had, because I still today am surprised it didn't work, believed it was going to work, that's why I hired him.
Some people would have read into last Thursday's, you didn't appear at his press conference, and assumed at that point that maybe he was in the hot seat then. What do you say to those people who maybe think that you purposely stayed away from his press conference at the game?
Well, Scott, you brought up that earlier in the year I said this, I said this, I said this, and one of the dangers of that is I really mean it when I say I'm not done evaluating a season until the season's over. And I'm pretty certain that if I would have gone to the press conference, you all would have desired for me to make final statements right after that game. And I wasn't done with my evaluation. Now, to your question, I probably could have gone to the press conference and just said, I'm not done with my evaluation. And then you would have read, not you personally, but people would have read into that. So no matter what I did, people were going to read into it. I made the decision. There were all sorts of rumors circulating that day about Todd resigning or something related to his health. I just told Phil, I said, Phil, please tell everybody that those rumors aren't true, and then share with them this statement. And the statement I made was how I felt. And I knew that there was a desire to somehow evaluate the program right after the Michigan game, and I wasn't done with my evaluation.
You said